Dustin here from Xbox 360 Fanboy, and we're going to be doing a little Halo 3 Heroic Map Pack walkthrough, so let's get right to it with Standoff. Standoff is actually my favorite map of the three, and if you want to think of it as a mini coagulation, that's kind of what it is. Very compact version. On each side you have a base, and through the middle you have a valley connecting two other satellites. And on each opposite corner near the bases is active camo, which is by a tree on one side and by a radio tower on the other side. And speaking of the bases, here's a shot of the red base, and you'll see the blue base in a moment. And they're actually, like I said, symmetrical, so they are exactly the same. And you'll also notice that there's a warthog in front of each, and there's actually rockets in front of each map too, near the entrances. And speaking of entrances, there is multiple ways to get into each base. There's two doors, as you can see, in the very front of the base, and to the far right is another entrance leading into the underground back of the base. There's also another one in the back left, which is a total of 4, and in the front left, you'll see in a moment, there's a locked entrance that can only be opened using a switch from the inside, and you'll see more of that in a little bit. Here's a quick fly-through of the inside of a base. It's a bit confusing. You have to probably run through it a little bit to get laid out. But most interesting is that switch I was talking about. Here, as you can see, when you press it, it not only opens up one of the entrances, but it also opens up the windows, kind of like the high ground windows. So that's kind of a cool feature. Here's an aerial view, and you'll probably notice in the far top back behind the base, there's it's different from red and blue. As you can see, blue has like another launch pad kind of thing. Not much goes, nothing's really up there, so it doesn't change gameplay all that much. That's pretty much Standoff though. Oh, and you do have the satellites off in the distance. So, very solid map indeed. Next up is Foundry, and Foundry is billed as Halo 3's ultimate forgeable map. And as you can see from these aerial shots, it's forgeable because there's so many boxes and crates and bridges and staircases and walls, all of which are deletable in the forge. Now you'll see here is where the bases are pretty much on each side. There's a catwalk, as you can see, where I spawn, and to the side is a room which is only accessible through this hallway, which has a bubble shield. And like I said, there's two bases, one on each side, almost like a horseshoe. On the left you have a base, on the right you have a base, all separated by a center wall. And at the center wall is a power drainer, as well as a rocket launcher, which is in a middle tunnel. Also, on the back left and right, so there's two total, are sniper rifles, which is kind of odd for such a close quarters map, but it seems to work quite well. Like I said, it almost seems like there's a lot of randomness when this stuff was placed. Each side is not symmetrical, though there is similar layouts of kind of structures on each side, but not the same by any means. As you can see there's one side has a couple fusion cores while the other has like a truck, for example. Kind of very helpful for when calling out different areas and things like that. Oh, and this map's also known for that soccer ball, which is available in the forge also. So. And finally we have Rat's Nest, the largest of the Heroic Map Pack maps. Here you were looking at the outside, right in the middle, and to the left and the right are tunnels leading to the red and blue bases. But let's jump right into the middle of the map. The heart of the map is there's a bridge, followed by a ghost, there's active camo, there's a gravity hammer, and a turret. So the middle is chock full of goodies. So let's just head around into one of the bases. Here we're heading to the red base. So follow the tunnel in, and you'll see there's warthogs and all kinds of vehicles. And heading through the bottom, you'll be enter into one of the red base rooms. There's two that connect to each other, and we'll be flying through to the next one right here. And all kinds of weapons all in here. But if you do not go to the bottom and instead you go to the top, there is also a tunnel that wraps around the outside of the two base rooms. And this tunnel leads back towards the middle of the map. To the right is where the bridge would be. Now we're back into the middle, and as you can see, very heart of the map is a sniper, and that's between the left and right tunnels, the blue and red tunnels. And let's follow the other tunnel back around to the blue base, which you'll see here. Same exact thing, you got your vehicles, it's just the blue base. Oh, and I forgot to mention that there is trip mines in this map. One on each side. And now this is curling back, almost like an oval track here around the whole map. So we come back to where we began. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and then you can also use grav lifts to get on top of the pipe, which circle around the map too, which is kind of a neat tactic if you want multiplayer. And that brings us to the end of the Heroic Map Pack walkthrough. Rat's Nest, Foundry, Standoff. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. X3F out.